Let's get ball-tarded. Huh. Let's get ball-tarded. What's up, guys, and welcome to Bad Boy Toy Club. My name is Dave, and today we're going to be taking a look at some pretty awesome toys that I pre-ordered a little over a year ago, and that's the Warriors of the Galaxy from Formo Toys. Now, these are the Galaxy Warriors. Yes, these guys were originally created by Sun Gold, and I guess Formo Toys picked up the license and they're running with it. They made these two awesome figures, and as soon as I saw them, I scooped them up for pre-order. Now, for those of you who have been following the channel for a while, you may be aware that I also collect Masters of the Universe, and as I got closer to completing the regular vintage line, I realized that there were more toys that had come out, and I remember seeing these knockoffs and these bootlegs when I was younger, and then I started diving into that. I didn't dive into it so much, which was one of my regrets. I wanted to, and then I kind of stopped when I realized Masters of the Universe had a huge rabbit hole of things like Wonder Bread and laser powers, and then you go into the world variant, and that's a whole conversation for another day. But officially now, Formo is making Warriors of the Galaxy. It's been hard throughout this video not to call them Galaxy Warriors and try to remember it's Warriors of the Galaxy. It's cool. They started with two, the main hero and the main antagonist, and what I'm looking forward to seeing is the lore and the story for these characters. I want to dive deeper into this world. I want to see how it conjoins with the Legends of Dragonore figures, which if you haven't picked up, I definitely recommend you pick them up. Toy Stalker might have some of the Legends of Dragonore figures available. I know they have these up for pre-order, so go ahead and pick these up at Toy Stalker. Use Bad Boy Toy Code at checkout for 10% off. I myself have the first wave of LOD figures, and I haven't unboxed them yet. They're awesome figures. The color application on these guys is amazing. The color combinations and even the variants, they just same sculpts and stuff, but they managed to make these figures look very colorful and awesome. They look great. Back in the day, Galaxy Warriors were created by Sun Gold. These are considered knockoffs. They saw the success of Masters of the Universe, and they decided to jump on that train and create bodies similar to the style and create different characters, and some of them are pretty weird and some of them are pretty awesome looking. I can't wait to see what Formo does with those designs as the line progresses. But yeah, you know, you have bootlegs and you have knockoffs. These I consider knockoffs because they're pretty much this is the model. Here we are. It's based and inspired off that model. Huh? It's not like if you make a He-Man, another He-Man, and he looks low budget. Huh? If you get He-Man and you make another He-Man and make him look low budget because, you know, your ghetto sculpting skills or your painting skills or whatever, then that is a bootleg. But if you get He-Man and you create something inspired by him, it's a knockoff of that line because they were the originators of that line. Oh. So what's funny is that the Galaxy Warriors, like, they didn't do it, but the world of toys created knockoffs of the Galaxy Warriors. So then you have Galaxy Fighters and a bunch of other lines that kind of like just knocked off and bootlegged that. So it's funny because like they look like the Galaxy Warriors, but there's different things in the sculpt, but they look like the same characters most of the time, especially Baltard. I find that pretty funny and pretty interesting. So if you're ever bored and looking for a wild rabbit hole to go down, check out knockoffs and bootlegs. You will be entertained for a very long time, and it's a slippery slope, so be careful. So anyways, that's enough about that, so let's dive in and check out these figures. Here we've got a box all the way from New Jersey from Formo Toys. Let's just get to the nitty gritty and see how they shipped everything. Just curious to see how Formo Toys themselves wraps their stuff and ships it. I was a little bit worried about this because nobody likes that, but I'm gonna blame the mailman for that. The box, there's nothing special about the box. It is a U-line box. Here we go. We've got some bubble wrap, some packing paper, more chunkier bubble wrap, a packing slip, and here we go. Yo, Magnon, dude, thick. Awesome. Put that there. And we've got Baltard. Came up with these names, bro. Awesome. Look at that. Let me get all this stuff out of the way. Nothing else in here. Cool. Let's get you out of here. We're going to take a look at the packaging here. So these are Warriors of the Galaxy. This is Magnon. He's like the main hero, the main protagonist for Warriors of the Galaxy. And here we have Baltard, who would be considered the main antagonist for Warriors of the Galaxy. Nope. So for the most part, both cards are the same, except for their file cards right here, which I'll show you in a second. So let's just look over the box art on this one. So these aren't from Remco, they're from Formo. Here on the front of the card, we've got Magnon, and he's facing off with Baltard, defending Planet Farer from evil. Magnon, noble hero of Planet Farer, is from the world of Legends of Dragonore. So I don't know if now they've made these guys a part of Dragonore. It includes illustrated stories. By the looks of it, it's 2 different mini comics, so that should be pretty interesting to read. Can't wait to dive into some lore when it comes to these guys. If I remember correctly, the backing card on the originals was just all gray, no color, no nothing, but it did have this black and white print on there. Don't remember if it had this on there. Here, I'll pull up the original backing card side by side with this one so you guys could take a look at it. I like that they paid homage to the original. Magnon, Baltard, we've got Huck and Yig. I think that's how you say his name. Here's the file card for Magnon, if you want to pause that and take a look. And here's the file card for Baltard, if you want to pause that as well. I did notice this. Luckily, I'm not going to be an inbox collector when it comes to these guys. I'm going to pop them open, so that doesn't bother me much. Oh! Oh, unpunched no more. Both cards did come unpunched, but I unfortunately dropped it. Plug that guy back in there. And now you can bring the resale value up. No problem. I remember seeing these guys at Navarro, and I wouldn't buy them because they weren't He-Man. And my mom would get me MOTU stuff at Zayre's. But I would see these guys and be like, that's not He-Man. Gross. And now I wish I would have bought all of them back in the day and kept them. We're here now. I do love the retro backing card. It looks ugly. In my opinion, it's not the best. Like, you can get this and compare it to what I think is like one of the best, currently the best backing cards of all time. Well, box, whatever. You know, you got side art, got this. I mean, this is a little lackluster, but that's what gives it so much charm, because it's almost exactly like as I remember the originals, except the figures look awesome. They look like they're gonna fit in well with the Legends of Dragonore figures. You can pick all of those up at Toy Stalker. So the card on these, it's a little more Masters of the Universe style as far as the width goes, because before they used to be a lot wider. I think the figure used to be here, and then they're a little wider on this side with like something. I'm not sure if it was Frank Frazetta art or Boris Vallejo or some bootleg version of it. That was a cool part of it. These guys don't look as crazy as that artwork, but they kept the stripes up here. They kept the black background, the same logo. It just changed a few things around, and that's cool. I'm not, again, I wasn't super attached to these guys. I got attached to these guys later on when I met my friend Mike Woods, and he led me to the rabbit hole, which was knockoffs and bootlegs, and these guys are great knockoffs of the MOTU line. I love that they made these guys 5.5, so that's, you know, 5.5 inches. They should go well with MOTU Origins as well as the Legends of Dragonore figures. So let's go ahead and pop this bad boy open. Got him. So all right, let's see what these guys are all about. Here we've got some instructions how to put Magnon together. Here's what I'm hoping is a mini comic and not just fluff. A little bubble, which we won't be needing. Got Magnon here. No tabs. He brings a sword and a shield. Nice and silver. We'll be popping those open. Here's a look at the front of them. Here's a look at the back. All the armor looks like it could come off with straps. He-Man style, Masters of the Universe. The articulation on these guys is pretty simple. The head goes all the way around. Your typical vintage Masters of the Universe articulation on the arms. His waist goes all the way around. There's no spring action. There never was with the original vintage versions of these guys. On the legs, their legs, you know, just go forward. They go back. There's no Van Damme split capabilities here. But what I did encounter was this. There is a twist, literally, here on the boots. And that's cool, bro. That's cool. The helmet looks like it could come off, but it most likely doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It's molded. And now let's get Baltarded up in here. Can't get in. I can't get in. Okay, here it is. Let's not fold the mini comic Dave. He also comes with another mini comic, which focuses on him. I'll give you a gander at those in just a second. He comes with his shield. He comes with his axe. Wait a second. This is interesting. Each individual strap has a slit down the middle, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I will check. That's a Galaxy Fighter. So for those who don't know, that these knockoffs, they made knockoffs of the knockoffs. And they were called Galaxy Fighter because they looked like the Warriors of the Galaxy. Okay, so that's enough bootleg history, so let's knock it off. Here's a look at Baltard in the front. He's got his little skeleton emblem right there with his lightning bolts. He's got no armor on the legs. You could probably get the armor off him and throw it on there if you want. He's got articulation here at the head that goes all the way around. And your standard Masters of the Universe articulation. Also articulation at the waist with no spring action. With the boot cut that goes all the way around as well. The paint application on these guys is pretty simple, but well done. They did a pretty clean job on the faces, the eyeballs, eyebrows, all that stuff. This guy's got no eyebrows, but you know, there's no hints of like airbrush or any accents. It's all just one solid color. One solid color for the boots, one solid color for the skin. Very, very, very plain. I'm good with that. They don't have to get so fancy. I would be putting these guys next to my vintage MOTU shelf, possibly with my vintage knockoff figures. These guys are cool. I do hope they make the other two that are on the backing card. I'm definitely all in on these guys. Now I can't wait to open up my Legends of Dragonore figures to like pose these guys all together. All right, so I broke these guys out of the plastic and I haven't taken a look through them at all because I just want to be as surprised as you guys. Here we have some pretty decent artwork on the front. Here's the credit to all the artists that worked on this mini comic here. The story was written by Emiliano Santalucia, Joshua Van Pelt, and Pierre Bronner. The art is by Daniele Spezzani, and both the colors and the cover are by Emiliano Santalucia as well. This guy looks dope. I'm gonna open that, and yes, bro, we finally get some official lore when it comes to the Warriors of the Galaxy. So I'll go ahead and slide this ever so slowly so you can go ahead and pause it. And you can read what's going on here and learn a thing or two about a thing or two. These are dudes from Dragonore. Both worlds are colliding and I'm down for that, bro. Very, very cool. Here you've got some cross-sell. You've got Warriors of the Galaxy. Again, look, there's the Huck. News to me, I haven't been keeping up, but it looks like they made a figure of him that I have to get now. And here we see each Warrior of the Galaxy figure is modular and can be separated at certain joints. Parts can be mixed and matched with other figures in the line and are fully compatible with Legends of Dragonore figures. These are the only swappable parts. Do not force any other pieces apart. This is a cool line. I've got wave 1 thanks to Toy Stalker. Make sure to use Bad Boy Toy Code to pick up your Legends of Dragonore figures. Link in the description. And we've got a different story for Baltard, which is great. I'll go ahead and scroll through that. The artwork looks very vintage. Very, very cool that they did this. That's pretty dope. I'm really glad they made these, and I'm glad I picked them up when the pre-orders went out, and no regrets. So these guys are cool. Very simple articulation, but I like that they made these guys look awesome. The original ones look They have that knockoff charm. Oh wait, I missed some articulation. They have articulation here at the wrists, on the forearm actually, not on the wrist. But yeah, these guys have articulation here on the forearms. So that's cool. I did not know that. This guy's stuck here. Am I supposed to not force it? Whoa, whoa, heat these guys up. Let me tell you something, guys. In the 80s, you didn't have to heat anything up. They only broke when you threw them against the wall. Yeah, let's get these guys loaded up, man. Get this guy with his shield. Boom. Give him his axe. So he can chop himself some firewood. Boom. That's easy. Golly, man. I'm just going to start reviewing 5.5 figures because they are way easier than giant Mondo stuff with like a million accessories. Sometimes you just want to like unbox a toy, bro. Just a chill toy with no extra hands and no extra heads, and you're good, bro. Look at that. Wakata. Bam. Bam, Playboy. What's up, player? You want some of this? Awesome. That's it, bro. That's all I want. Cool. I wasn't expecting anything crazy from these guys. They didn't have to go all origin style. They just updated the sculpts, updated the weapons. That's it. They cleaned them up. Definitely going to be jumping in on these the more that come out. I'm glad I started with the first two. If I would have started seeing other people unbox these and I didn't have them, totally regret it. So like I said, these guys are available for pre-order on Toy Stalker, so you can go ahead and jump on there, pick them up. They're 35 bucks each, but if you use Bad Boy Toy Code at checkout, you'll save yourself 10%. So go ahead and check out Toy Stalker and pick yourself up a couple of these bad boys. They're awesome. I mean, if you're not into these guys, that's fine, but Man, they look great. The sculpt on these guys are great. Definitely paying homage to that 1980s retro style. Also forgot to mention the skirts come off. We got these MOTU-style loincloths under there. Yeah, man, definitely pick these guys up at Toy Stalker. You won't regret it, or maybe you will. I don't know, that's not my fault if you do. And make sure to pick up some Flip Wars, because these guys all look good together, and he's just gonna steal all their trinkets and whatnot, and he's just gonna make out like a bandit. Am I happy that Formo Toys made Warriors of the Galaxy? Yes. Especially because they just started with 2. There's a lot of stuff coming out now, and now it's like, okay, look, there's another one that might or might not be out yet, and I'm excited to get that one because it's like, it's nice. I'm not killing myself. There's not this pressure of trying to get everything, especially with the rise in prices with everything and how it's starting to feel like these companies are trying to take advantage of us. It's nice to see something come out at a slow pace. I used to mainly collect Masters of the Universe, but now I'm trying to collect a lot of stuff. I feel it's getting to a point with me where I gotta start setting limits for myself, but I'm not a quitter. I would rather let the plane crash and burn than to land it because I'm scared. It's a lot, bro. It's a lot. I don't know where I was going with that, but I like these figures. They look great. The paint application on them is clean. They could have gone a little extra with like extra airbrush and stuff, but that's fine. They look way better than the originals. They feel way better, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the line. I'm wondering if the original creators of this line had anything to do with it. So I'm gonna dive down that rabbit hole. It would be really cool to see if they had any other ideas for this toy line, Formo bring that into fruition and create maybe vehicles, maybe other creatures. That would be pretty neat. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be updated every time I post a new video. And until the next time, guys, stay cool and bad.